chicos! Well, today we're going to discuss the unique Picasso. And one of the things that Picasso said was this, apparently. When I was a child, my mother said to me, if you become a soldier, you'll be a general. If you become a monk, you'll be the Pope. Instead, I became a painter and then became Picasso. So that says a lot about who Picasso was and what kind of person he was as well. Let's see some fun facts about Picasso. His full name contains 23 words, believe it or not. He produced over 20,000 works. Remember that we discussed about how Goya had created 500s and they already seemed like a lot. Also, what do you think this is? Yes, that's his first work. His first work, he did it when he was 9 years old, and it's about bullfighting, not very childlike. He was thought to be a stillborn when he was born, and his masterpiece was returned to Spain from the Met Museum in New York in 1981, and he died in France. His name and work are trademark now, and he also has a museum with his name in Malaga. He was a very talented person. He started to show talent at a very young age, as we could see. And he was also quite obsessed with self-portraits, the same as Goya. So, as we said, he was born in Malaga. His name is Pablo Ruiz Picasso, but he decided to use his mother's name, as Velázquez would do. He was a painter, sculptor, printmaker, ceramicist, stage designer. Name it, he could do it. His works mean a non-returning point for art in general, and he's considered one of the most influential artists of the 20th century. Together with Georges Braque, he created Cubism. He, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, he was the most prolific artist of all times. He had that type of production in a 78-year career. And that's only estimated because we don't really know how much he could have produced that was given away or that was lost in the different times that he moved. And his lifetime work has been valued at almost $700 million. One of his great masters was Velázquez, as pretty much for any other artist after his time. And women had a great impact in his life. When Picasso visited Paris, he met this woman, Fernande, and she was known as La Belle Fernande. They had a relationship for about 7 years. Then he met Eva Well, and they were together for those years. And she was the one that introduced him to some of the most important people in Paris, or the intellectuals mainly. Then he met Olga Klova, his only wife until very, very late in his life. They had a son together. Then he meets Marie-Thérèse. They also have a daughter together. The relationship with the two of them, with Olga and Marie-Thérèse, overlapped. And that's Marie-Thérèse and that's Maya, the daughter that they had together. That's also the two of them. And that's Maya with the rest of the family much later. And that's Maya more recently. Okay, the Spanish government gave her the nationality in 2017 at the age of 84. Okay. After Marie-Thérèse, he meets Dora Maar, and she was a French photographer who was his model and muse for this time. When they met, she was 29 and he was 55. He created dozens of portraits of her, sometimes crying because they had a very tense type of relationship, and they were together until he met Françoise. She was also a painter. When they met, she was 21 and he was 61. They lived together for 10 years, and eventually she left him, and it's actually the only woman that ever left Picasso. This is one of her paintings. And Picasso has this type of infatuation with her. She was indeed a very beautiful and also quite intelligent woman. And there is almost like a period that some specialists call the Françoise period. And it's when he created different paintings of her. That's Françoise more recently. And that's one of his most recent paintings. The two of them had 2 children together, Claude and Paloma, and Picasso reflected their family life in quite a few of his paintings. We can see some pictures of them as a family man, playing, the two of them together, and that's Paloma Picasso today. She's become an entrepreneur, and she's got her own name. She does perfumes, jewels, sunglasses, everything, and that's her, a more recent picture of her. And the last partner, and also the second and last wife, was Jacqueline. When they met, she was 26 and he was 72. Because of the time that they were together, he could create over 400 paintings of her. She committed suicide in 1986 because she couldn't cope with the fact that she was not with Picasso anymore. That's some pictures of the two of them together. And they kind of complemented each other. Okay. So you can see that Picasso had quite a complicated family, love life, call it whatever you want, but they all served as inspiration for some of his most important productions.